Have you learned about how basketball coaches train the athletes in Eastern Europe to be such complete players?
Well, here's the thing.
Crazy.
If you have any doubt that talent is just a fractional part of this equation, look at a picture of Nikola as a boy. Okay,
Yes.
Call up any pictures. The Serbian tennis players learn to play tennis in the bottoms of swimming pools. Okay, these are people who come from deficit, not surfeit. Is
Right.
one of the most interesting things you can observe about them. I mean, and the other thing I would say that I learned in doing this book is that all of those things they're doing on the court are micro decisions. They're not fortunate bursts of inspiration. They come from process and method so that the mail system between their brain and their body works really, really fast in the moment. They rise to the moment in a really efficient way. And that's what the rest of us can learn from them. We study athletes for all the wrong things sometimes. That's what they're really worth.
So let's start at the very beginning, and that is conditioning. I was telling you before you came on set, one of the reasons I'm so excited to have you on is because I was going to text my kids and say, here's the deal. Here's the truth. Here's the meaning of life. If you work hard, you do well. If you don't work hard, you don't do well. Love, Dad. And then I saw your column taken from this book on Michael Phelps. What an extraordinary story about working hard 365 days out of the year.
Yeah. Champions do more things. It's very simple. They do more. Michael Phelps, the story in the book is Michael Phelps is on a bus with other Olympians going to a training session, and these older swimmers say to him, boy, you train a lot, don't you? And he goes, yeah, I guess. And they said, well, do you train on Christmas? And he's like, yeah, I do. I swim on Christmas Day. And they're like, but you don't swim on your birthday, right? And he's like, yeah, I do. I swim on my birthday. You know, athletes, it's important to note for parents out there, athletes also spend a lot of time on recovery. Type A hard chargers get that wrong quite a lot. Mike Krzyzewski learned as coach of the Olympic team, the first time he coached LeBron James and those guys, he said, let's do 2-a-days, guys. Let's go 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. And they all looked at him and they said, Coach, in the afternoons, we do our yoga and our Pilates and our stretching and our massage. Like, we can't do 2 workouts. So,
Just like Bill Russell used to do.
Yes, it sounds like.
You know, the book is called The Right Call, What Sports
Great
Teaches Us
title.
About Work and Life. And you point out some of the people you talk about and talk with in the book. There was nothing inevitable about their superstardom. A guy like Peyton Manning wasn't blessed with every physical gift in the world, but he just worked harder at it and was obsessed with it.
yeah, I mean, people forget that. I mean, Peyton Manning was the son of Archie Manning, so he certainly had advantages. But people forget his third year in the league, his one-loss record was 32-32, and he had led the league in interceptions 2 of those years. Tony Dungy and Jim Caldwell got a hold of him and corrected some real flaws in his game, like his feet. They looked at tape of every interception he'd ever thrown, and they found common denominators. And one of the things they saw was that his feet got very jackhammery and uneven under pressure. So they designed a drill where they threw sandbags at his feet in practice to try to get him a little more consistent under pressure. So it's just really critical to understand how much these people are made and not born.
But the bottom line of the Peyton Manning story that you point out is he succeeded by obsessing over his failures.
Yes. The champions really look at their weaknesses. The rest of us run around our backhands, right? We get pretty good at something, and then we kind of run around our weaknesses. Athletes really go right at them. It's the thing I've learned to respect most about them. I'll give you a great stat. Every year at the Super Bowl, my favorite statistic is look at how many people on a Super Bowl team were cut or traded or undrafted. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl team had 27 players on the roster who'd been rated 2 stars or less in high school. 2 stars or less. Yeah.
Interesting.
So the book obviously uses extraordinary athletes like Michael Phelps as an example, but also extraordinary coaches, and I'd argue none more extraordinary than Bill Belichick.
Correct.
So tell us about him.
A very forbidding guy until you talk to him. It was the most surprising interview. He's very courtly and really fun to talk to when he's not doing an act in public to, get his team ready for the big game. But one of the things that he observed when I interviewed him that I thought was the most important takeaway was he said, you have to execute something in the face of resistance. You have to practice in the face of resistance. Because if you can't do it against practice resistance, you're certainly not going to be able to do it. when the moment comes.
You know, Sally, when you talk to champions or professional athletes, certainly some college athletes, there's discipline involved in greatness. There's the willingness to listen and adapt in greatness. But what about those handful of athletes you may have encountered who know instinctively they have a gift that just separates them from everyone else?
You know, it's funny. My father, the great sports writer Dan Jenkins,
Oh, he was
yeah,
the best.
The greatest.
Yeah. I mean, he told me that the thing that really great athletes understand is that not to feel your potential is a kind of sin, is the way my dad put it. And I think they really feel that way. Like, they feel like if they have a little potential, they're going to send the elevator all the way to the 12th floor. It's not going to stop on the 10th floor, right? They really, they play themselves to ashes. You know, and look at Djokovic is 36 years old. Okay, one of the things these people are doing is really expanding the age range for achievement. Jimmy Connors was considered the grand old man of tennis. He won his final Grand Slam title at 33. So they're pushing the envelope, for one thing. They're showing us, they're instructing us that we're stopping too soon.
You know, I wanted to also going back to Michael Phelps. What was so shocking is his coach basically said, I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to make it. And so Phelps would go, he would set a world record in practice. He would come out exhausted. Coach would say, okay, let's do it 5 more times. It's just unthinkable.
Just to nail
And
it.
yet he did.
Yeah, to groove it. Diana Nyad, the great swimmer who swam from Cuba to Key West, at the end of every training swim, she would tell herself 5 more minutes. Oof. Just 5 more minutes. Right? It's a great mental trick. You can use it with anything, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. The PGA Tour and Live Golf joining forces. Is this good for golf?
No.
You've had a few choice words about this.
Yeah, so for one thing, it's a sale, okay? Let's call it what it is. It is a sale. It's interesting. People need to start looking at the other bankers involved in this deal. Behind the Saudis is a woman named Amanda Stavely, who engineered the sale of the Newcastle team to the Saudis. Look at the commission that she got 10% of the team as a commission. Okay, the bankers involved in this are going to walk away. She was involved in another deal with Barclays. Her commission there was £110 million. So one of the questions we have to start asking is, what's the real motive for this deal? Is it that it's good for golf, or is it that lots of people are going to get huge benefit commissions? 4 people walked into a room, went into a cigar bar, basically, and made this deal.
Right.
How does that benefit the players? Those questions really need to be answered. And fortunately, I think Senator Blumenthal is going to start asking those questions.
All right, the new book is entitled The Right Call, What Sports Teaches Us About Work and Life. The Washington Post's Sally Jenkins, thank you very much. We really appreciate your coming on this morning.
Great to be here.
Thank you.